and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're having a wonderful January so far. I certainly am. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I am going to be reading in this very January. I've got 10 physical books here, but I wanted to, before I mentioned and showed you the physical books, just wanted to mention the audiobooks that I'll be listening to. So an audiobook that I started listening to in November, but then put on hiatus because I was listening to Christmassy stuff in December, is Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I will be continuing to listen to that now. Very much enjoying it. You all know who Michelle Obama is. It's narrated by herself, which is lovely. And yeah, I've got to the bit where Barack is just about to start thinking about becoming president of the United States. Wonder how it's going to end. Wonder how it's going to end. And two other audiobooks that I want to listen to. I've just bought Pages & Co by Anna James, which is a middle grade book about a girl who, I think it's her parents own a bookshop or a library, and she gets lost within the pages of books. Sounds amazing. Sounds like something that I would have bloody loved when I was younger. So looking forward to listening to the audiobook of that. And also something else that I want to do, oh, maybe two more audiobooks then I'll be listening to as well. I recently made my video of my best books of 2018, and within that, a lot of those books, as I was talking about them, I was like, bloody hell, I'd love to read these again. And I think what I'm going to do, the ones that I read, I feel like maybe I'll revisit them this year by listening to the audiobook of them. Two in particular that I want to get to are Eat Up by Ruby Tandoh. Both of these are narrated by the author. Eat Up by Ruby Tandoh, which is a non-fiction book about food and relationships with food and sort of food traditions, and I just love anything to do with food, guys. I'll be there for that. So that, and also This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay, which is again a non-fiction book about Adam Kay's junior doctor diaries, starting from when he left medical school to when he was a registrar, almost to become a consultant. I love that book, and you will know how much I love that book. So I feel, and also the audiobook's supposed to be amazing because it's narrated by him, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Look at this rainbow jumper, by the way. Isn't it nice? Long sleeves like this though, that I could get things lost in. Rainbow. So anyway, on to the books. The first book I will show you is The Cactus, which is very shiny and nice, by Sarah Haywood. This is the book. I run a Patreon. Hi, if you're in my Patreon book club, this is what we're reading. I run a book club over on my Patreon account. If you would like to go over there and join, then please feel free to. It's Patreon, for those who don't know, is a website where you can tip some of your favourite creators. You can tip anything from $1 to $100 million, and my Patreon book club is on the $5 tier, so if you'd like to join in, we have a lovely time. I give you two options. We're going to read a different genre every month, and I'm going to be I give you an option of two books that you want to read, that you could read, and then we do a poll. God, I'm making this sound like it's really long-winded. We do a poll, and then at the end of the month I do a live show where I talk about the book, and you send in comments and questions and stuff. A bit like Live and Kicking in the 90s on a Saturday morning, something like that. But this book, The Cactus by Sarah Haywood, this is one we picked. This is about a 45-year-old woman who is a bit prickly, hence the cactus, cactus reference. She feels like her life's perfect, and she's living her own sort of like single life, a flat for one, likes her job, got a few sexual relationships on the go, having a lovely time, and then there's an event that happens, and she's faced with the loss of her mother and the potential of herself becoming a mother. And yeah, I just feel like it sounds a bit different to what I normally read. It sounds a bit sort of women's contemporary fiction-y, not normally what I would be up for. But yeah, sounds like it's gonna be good. Published by Two Roads, looks lovely. And then the other book is my book club that I run with my friends, and we are reading The Night Watch by Sarah Waters. I started this morning, and I'm 20 pages in, very much enjoying it so far. This is historical fiction, and it follows 4 Londoners, and it's told backwards. So they work in the, how are they just, oh, they work during like the air raids. I think they sort of like clear the streets and things like that, and it's told backwards. So it starts in 1947 and then it works its way back to 1940. So it sounds like a really interesting way to tell a story, and I'm already like seeing a few, like even 20 pages in, you're sort of learning a few links between these 4 characters. But yeah, very much looking forward to reading this, and a lot of people have told me that this is their favourite Sarah Waters, so feel excited about that, and it matches my hair a little bit, doesn't it? The next two are two books that are in sort of relation to things that I've got going on this year, and I'll go more in depth in this in my 2019 plans video. But basically, I didn't read one translated fiction book in 2018, which is absolutely shocking and disgusting. So I don't normally set myself, excuse me, I don't normally set myself things that you must read every month, but I feel like 0 translated fiction books in 2018 is absolutely disgusting. So every month in 2019 I'm making an effort to read a translated fiction book every month, and the first one that I will be reading is Farewell My Orange by Iwaki Kei. This is translated by the Japanese, and it follows 2 immigrants both living in Australia. One has come from Japan with her husband. She doesn't speak any English at all, and the other one is come from Nigeria, and it follows their friendship, and one tragedy happens in one of the, I believe they're both women, yep, one of the women's lives, and it's them dealing with the fallout from that. So yeah, it's not very big at all, and when they got in touch with me I was like, oh, that sounds really good, and want to read more translated fiction, guys. Let me know if you've got any translated fiction things you think, translated books that you think I would love, because I want to read more in 2019. Very embarrassed at not having read any in 2018. And the next thing I've got going on in my life this year, 2019, I'm trying to cut back on plastic, and I will be reading Turning the Tide on Plastic by Lucy Seagull. I went to watch a talk, Lucy Seagull do a talk on this book and plastic in general at Cambridge Literary Festival with Mercedes, and I bought this book here. Here's my ticket to prove that I was there, and I will be reading this. She gives some steps of how to cut back on plastic. She breaks it down into 8 R steps, and I'm going to be doing potentially, I'm undecided I'm going to do, I'm definitely going to document this on the channel, and I want to do things like film a video of how much plastic I get in 1 week before I've read this book, and how much plastic I do as the stages go on and things like that. So interested in doing that. Gonna have a big cough now, excuse me. I'm not sure I've got such a tickle today. The next books I've got are just 2 books that I own and I really want to read, and they're not, one's due out this month and one's been out for a few years, but I picked it up in a charity shop and I've really been excited to read it. So this is Funny Girl by Nick Hornby. Before I started BookTube, before I got into my niche of reading, I used to read a lot of Nick Hornby, and I always really enjoyed his books, and I haven't read one for many years. I would go as far as to say 5 or 6 years. I used to read them like as they came out. I would get them and love them, I haven't read one for ages. I feel like this is maybe his most recent one, however, maybe not though. It was published in 2014. I'm sure he's had a more recent one than this. But what drew me to this is, first of all, because it was Nick Hornby and I used to love this, but I watched the first episode of The Marvellous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime, which follows a woman who becomes a stand-up comedian, and this sort of, I felt like this was a little bit like it. It's set in 1964, and Barbara Parker has just been crowned Miss Blackpool, and she ditches her tiaras off to London to make her fortune, and she starts working at the BBC with her own comedy series. So yeah, I feel like it'd be very good. And also, strangely, I don't know if it's sort of semi-based on fact, because it's got a lot of pictures throughout, and like scripts and stuff, so it's either, I don't know, it doesn't say anything about it being non-fiction, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, very much looking forward to that. And then the next one I've got is one that is due out this month, and I got sent it by favour last year. It is a collection of essays called We Are Never Meeting in Real Life, and look at that kitty on the front. But yeah, this sounds amazing. I hadn't, I'm really looking forward to reading some of this. I picked up the first one and looked at, the first essay is entitled My Bachelorette Application, but there's some amazing titles of essays in here, and I've heard it's really funny. Fuck It Bitch Stay Fat, that's one of the essays. I'm up for that. I'm in Love and It's Boring. Do you guys pay your fucking bills or what? There's a Christmas one in there. Yo, I Need a Job. And then the title essay, We Are Never Meeting in Real Life. So I'm looking forward to this. I've heard it's very funny. The next 2 books are books that I've been slowly working my way through everybody's best books of 2018, and Jen and Simon's being my most recent 2 videos that I've watched. And Jen mentioned Home Fire by Camilla Shamsi being one of her favourites of the year, and I still haven't read this, which is shocking. So I definitely need to get around to reading this. So yeah, really need to get around to that. Very much looking forward to it. This follows siblings. Sorry, trying to cross my legs under the table. Oh God, she just wants to be comfy, that's all. Siblings, Isma, Anika and Pave, and they've, Pave gets divided from his sisters, and yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to getting to that. And then Simon mentioned The Wicked Cometh by Laura Carlin, which is a novel of darkest London, historical fiction. I got this from Mercedes. Mercedes read it and then didn't want to keep it anymore, so I kept it. It's set in 1831. Oh, listen to this, it sounds really like moody. Down the murky alleyways of London, acts of unspeakable wickedness are taking place, and no one is willing to speak out on behalf of the city's vulnerable poor as they disappear from the streets. Oh, not that. So yes, looking forward to that. And then the last two books I've got to show you, I feel like I've been moving all over the place in this video. The last two books I've got to show you are just books that I've received recently and really bloody want to read them. The first one is a proof book, a proof copy of What Red Was by Rosie Price. This isn't out until May. I very rarely read books that far in advance, but this really spoke to me and I'm very excited about it. It sounds a little bit like Conversations with, not Conversations with Friends, it sounds a little bit like Normal People. And that's what made me excited. So it says, through their 4 years at university, Kate and Max are inseparable. For him, she breaks her solitude. For her, he leaves his busy circles behind. But loving Max means knowing his family, the wealthy Rippons, all generosity, social ease and quiet repression. Theirs is not Kate's world. At their London home, just after graduation, her life is shattered apart in a bedroom while a party goes on downstairs. It says here, What Red Was explores the effects of trauma on mind and body and tyrannies of memories, the sacrifices involved in staying silent, and courage of a young woman in speaking out, and what Kate does when Kate does this question, whose story is it now? So yeah, this is a, I believe this is a debut. Very much looking forward to getting into that. And then the last one is one that I got for Christmas off my sister and her husband. It is My Thoughts Exactly by Lily Allen. This is Lily Allen's memoir. I've heard that she deals in truths in this book. This is a very truthful book. A lot of people have been quite moved by how truthful it was. I did have potential thoughts of maybe listening to the audiobook of it, but I feel like I would very much like to read this book. I also think it's really gorgeous. I really love the colour of it. I love the naked hardback, and this portrait of her on the front, picture of her on the front is just gorgeous. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to reading that. So those are the books that I will be reading in the month of January. Would love to hear if you guys have read any of these books. Would love to hear what books you are planning on reading in January, and I'll see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye.